afternoon. This is Mr. Touchton. I am here with two friends of mine, Kenneth and Olivia, if they want to come say hi. Olivia's behind the camera,
Hi.
so she's helping out back there. And today we are going to go over rounding with different units of our place value. And so we are going to start with our tens, then move to our ones, tenths, and hundredths. Now, as I said, we're going to start with our tens, and what's always important when rounding to a specific place value is to look one place to your right to know if you're going to round up or round down. So I'm going to go ahead and write right over here, kind of something to help us remember. If it's the digit one place to the right is 5 to 9, we're going to round up. If it is 0 to 4, that means we are going to round down. So, as I said, we're going to start with our tens. So let's take a look over here. We have 4 tens, and so we're going to start with a number that we have. We're going to write it down here, 4 tens. We're going to write it in unit value. And up here, we're going to write the next set of tens, which is 5 tens. And to help you out, to help you remember, 5 tens is 50, and 4 tens is 40. Now, how we would find our midpoint right here in the center is going to be our midpoint. How we would find that is we would take 4 tens and then add 5 of the next unit, which is ones. So in case you haven't figured that out, 4 tens plus 5 ones is the number 45. Now, as I said, we're rounding to our nearest tens place. We're going to look one over to our ones place, and we have a 7. So if we were to plot 47 on this line, it would land about right here. And so you would notice that that 47 is closer to our 5 tens. And so when we round 47 and 682 thousandths, this number that we're working with, to the nearest tens, we would get 50 or 5 tens. And always circle or underline or put a box around your answer so I know what you're talking about or which one that you're picking when you write out your number line there. The next one we're going to go to is our ones place. And one way we're going to do this is we're going to start grouping these units together, okay? So I'm not just going to focus on my 7 here, but I'm going to take this 4 because we have 4 tens and 7 ones. I'm going to take this and group it into our ones right here. Okay? And I'm going to do the same thing with the other ones in just a minute, but I'm going to start with our ones. And this number in 47 and 682 thousandths, we have a total of 47 ones. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take my 47 ones, and the next number available to round to would be 48 ones. And then I'm going to find my midpoint, which is going to be 47 ones plus 5 of my next unit, which is tenths. And so we're going to take a look at what we have here. We have 47 ones, and then our next unit over, we have 6 of them, 6 tenths. So 6 tenths is going to be on this upper half right here. And as you can see, 47 and 6 tenths is closer to 48. So when we round to our ones, we're going to be getting 48 ones. The next unit is going to be our tenths. So I'm going to keep grouping together my tenths here. All I did was just take that 47 and put it right there with my 6. And I'm going to go ahead and start with this. I'm going to take 476 tenths, okay? Because we have a total, if we were to just look at this number and say, how many tenths do I have in 47 and 682 thousandths? Then I would say, I would take all these numbers, I would say I would have 476 tenths. And I'm going to write that right here. And up top, I'm going to put the next one available to go to. The next one up from 476 tenths, which is 477 tenths. And my midpoint would be this number plus 5 of my next unit. So 476 tenths plus 5 of my next unit, which is hundredths. Now let's look down here what I've got. I've got my 476 tenths, and for my next unit I have an 8. Now let's remember, if it's 5 to 9, it's rounding up, and if it's 0 to 4 in your next unit, it's going to means we're rounding down. So I'm going to take this 476 tenths along with those 800 to plot that. So it's definitely going to be above my midpoint because it's 8 hundredths there. And so as you can see, my number is going to be closer to my 477 tenths. So if I were to round this all the way to the nearest tenths, I would have 477 tenths. Okay? Or just convert it in a standard decimal form, it would be 47 7 tenths. Finally, I'm going to get to my hundredths place. Now, I want you to notice, the progression that we've made all the way down to our hundredth spot. So we're going to take these numbers and we're going to move them right over here. So I'm going to take this 476 and add it right down into my hundredths place. And I'm going to keep that one the same right there. So this is going to be my bottom number on the number line over here. 4,768 hundredths. 4,768 hundredths. Starts getting really long over here. And up top, I'm going to write the next one up. So 4,769. I'm just going to go ahead and abbreviate that. 4,769 hundredths. So in the middle, as we've seen before, we take the bottom amount and we're going to add 5 of the next unit. So it's going to be 4,768 hundredths plus 5 thousandths. Now, I'm going to look back over here. So I've got my 4,768 hundredths, and then in the next spot I have 2 thousandths. So that 2 is going to tell me to round down, and so I'm just going to write where that would be. And so I'm going to round that down to 4,768 hundredths, or I would just write it like this: 47.68. So that is the way we would do it with grouping our units together. Now I'm going to show you kind of what I would call a shortcut way, or some might call it the standard way. So I'm going to go ahead and erase all of this. And I'm going to teach you a way that's can often be a lot more similar, or not similar, excuse me, simpler than doing all of this. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this stuff right here. And we're just going to take a look at our number, and I'm going to write tens, ones, tenths, and hundredths. So what I'm going to do is just going to take a look at my number, and I'm going to go ahead and start rounding. So the way I would do this is I would look, I've got 4 tens, just like we went over with that number line. And my next number over is what I look to determine if it's going to round up or round down. Well, I've got a 7 there. I know if it's somewhere between 5 to 9, it's going to round up. So instead of staying at, instead of rounding down to 40, I've got to round up to 50. So 47 rounds up to 50. Now, I'm going to go to my nearest one. So I have 47, and behind that 47, I have 6 tenths. That 6 is going to tell me to round up to the next one, which would be 48. Now, let's go all the way over to our 10th spot. Now, in my 10th spot, I have a 6. Okay, so I have 47 and 6/10, or 47.6. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to look one place over in my 100 spot to tell me if this 6 is going to go up or going to round down. And I've got an 8 right here, so that means that 6 is going to round up to a 7. So rounding to the nearest tenth, it's going to be 47 and 7/10. Finally, rounding to my hundredths place. So I've got 47.68, so 47 and 68 hundredths. I'm going to look and figure out if that needs to round up to a 9 by going to my 2. 2 is not a very big number, so 2 is going to let it round down, and it's going to be 47 and 68 hundredths. Now, common problem that people are, I've discovered in my classroom that students are making, common mistake that they're making, is they're putting extra digits there, okay? So when I round to my ones place, the last digit in that number is going to be in the ones place. When I round to my tenths place, the last digit in that number is going to be in my tenths place. And when I round to my hundredths place, the last digit is going to be in my hundredths place. So I hope that helps you with your rounding and drawing out the number lines and everything like that. And I hope that helps you on your mid-module that's coming up. So I expect, hopefully some of you will watch this video. Hopefully maybe even some of you that don't take my class, maybe some of you that are browsing, maybe it'll help you too with your 5th grade or 6th grade or whatever grade you're in math work. So that is all we have today. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.